Well, hi everybody, and welcome to episode 54 of That Fallout Show, the OG Broho. I am Rick McVick, and with us tonight is Shaline. Hi.
Hi, how are ya?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I've taken some time for myself today, did a little spa day. I feel very pretty.
Nice.
So,
well, you look immaculate.
Thank you.
Bueno. Is Bueno's right? I don't know. Forget
it. It's good.
It sounds Italian. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us here this evening. And if you're listening, thank you for downloading our podcast. It means so very much to us. But let's get on with how you can help our show out here, because we need all the help we can get. And how you can do that is you can help share us on your social media. You can send us emails, because we don't have any this year. You can, this year, what the heck? To the 2 weeks we've been off felt like a year.
More than 2 weeks, hasn't it?
I don't remember. I don't know. Anyway, you can send us emails that we will read on air if they are worthy. You can subscribe, and retweet our things. And you can also tell your friends about us and host us on Twitch, because why wouldn't you want to share these two mugs? Look at us. We're just adorable mugs here. Anyway, in tonight's episode...
We got further than I thought before you crashed.
It was it's the eyebrow thing.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think anyone in the chat's noticed yet.
Nobody noticed.
Let it go. Anyway, in tonight's show, we have some news. Gameplay. We do have a lore segment as well, and ballistic bargains, and that's it. There's a lot to... Okay, there we go. They're starting to notice. So for those of you listening, there are new features on the Zoom chat that gave Shaline some facial hairs and big bushy eyebrows.
It was glorious. These eyebrows are magnificent.
It's terrifying how well it tracks with your face.
It really is, right? Look.
It's like they're actually there. You
gosh,
you can
it's
turn
so
it off
good.
now.
It really is. It's. I feel like I'm part of a character creator. I'm on a character. It was so good. And then there's also lipstick options.
This must be what that guy in the beginning of Skyrim felt like.
Yes!
Who are you? Ooh.
Okay, all the filters are off now.
Wow. Okay.
That was really fun.
Oh my lord. Let's before we get into the news, oh boy. We have some new Discordians. Actually, we have one new Discordian and one person.
We've got it's Hutch. Hey Hutch, nice
Hello.
to see you. We also have Patriot Gaming USA. You have him marked as back from the Wall of Shame. I don't think he's back from the Wall of Shame.
He was.
I think he's new. Was he?
No, because he came over a while ago to our channel, and I believe that he got schwacked and then came back. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's been in the chat room here on the Zoom or on the Twitch.
He's been in the chat room here on Twitch before. He's part of the community, but I feel like this is the first time he's been in our Discord.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Well,
I
welcome.
don't know.
I thought he was there before.
Welcome. Either way. Oh, no Wall of Shame, he says.
Oh,
okay, so
I am wrong.
Welcome to Hey It's Hutch and to Patriot Gaming USA. And Vendor, when he's here doing this, hi Vendor, by the way.
Yes.
By the way, Vendor was not able to join us. But when he's here, he usually talks about some of the new developments in Discord. And probably the biggest one is that he added a channel called GIF Wars.
Yes.
And it's just GIFs, and it's ridiculous. It's madness at all times. Just a stream of crazy GIFs.
It is the gift that keeps on giving.
Nice.
You're welcome. I'll be here all week. That's not true. I'll be here for the next hour and a half-ish. Anyway, it's time to get into some news.
If you like news, you're gonna love our next segment.
What happened in the world of Fallout, Shaline?
Well, a few few things, Rick, and one of those things is that Bethesda accidentally released the Steel Dawn update on Xbox.
Yeah.
They were able to download it on Xbox a whole week early.
Whoopsie.
And instead of fixing this problem, Bethesda decided, you know what, screw it. Just release it, put it out there. Just let it go. Give the people what they want.
Good guy, Bethesda.
Yeah. So thanks, Bethesda. It was great because it gave us all, or those of us who are in the U.S., most of us who listen to this podcast, I think, are U.S. based.
It's a good mix,
gave
honestly.
us a holiday weekend to work on that, so that's lovely. So Steel Dawn is out. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit about that. No spoilers. No problem. There will be no spoilers. I don't even think you've started it.
I haven't even started it. I am looking forward to your spoiler-free impressions.
Yeah, I have a few.
So the next thing we're going to go into is the most recent Inside the Vault. This, of course, is Bethesda's weekly Fallout 76 update. They released it a week early instead of on the planned date of December 1st, as we just discussed. And they discussed a few of the highlights. Of course, there is the new quest line, the new Brotherhood of Steel quest line. And camp shelters are now available for everyone. I did build myself a basement, so we can talk about that a bit. Mm-hmm. I feel like maybe the basements needed a little more time in the oven.
A
little bit, yeah. I feel like they just pulled them out, and they had to put in that pumpkin pie, so they're like, these are good enough. They're still a little cold in the middle, but they're gonna be fine. It's good. So we got to get the pie in. So they pulled those out of the oven too soon. Survival mechanic improvements. I'm not so sure that I agree that these are improvements, but survival mechanic changes, we could say.
Yeah.
Instead of hunger and thirst giving you any negative effects, now you get bonuses and buffs when you are fully and partially fed and hydrated. And there are no longer any negative aspects to that. I'm not sure how I feel about that. What do you think, Rick?
I'm right there with you. I think that was dumb. What they should have done was just make those meters go down longer.
Yeah, just make them a little slower.
Yeah, because I don't know. It got a little problematic to try to constantly feed and drink, eat and drink, and but I didn't mind the negative effects because I rarely got them, but it just seemed like those bars went away a lot faster than they should. But this is a little, I don't know. They're kind of homogenizing Fallout 76 a little bit, and
yes.
It's
it feels lame to me that they are removing the negative effects entirely. Yeah. But on the other hand, I see the potential for me to carry so much more stuff without having to carry quite as much food and drink. So
yeah,
that's a net positive.
I never got too weighed down with the food. Mainly purified water was the heavy one, but it's all the stim packs that I have that definitely hold down most of the weight. But yeah, I'm always running out of food.
Yeah, well, I always have way too much food. That's where I get a lot of my money, is from selling food to the robot vendors. So they've added some new weapons and armor by completing the Steel Dawn quest line and also daily ops. You can get new weapon and armor rewards, including the plasma cutter, the Crusader pistol, the Hellstorm missile launcher, and they have also adjusted some weapons like the Flamer Cryolator to deal fire, cryo, and other types of non-physical damage. Atomic Shop updates. Now this one, I like this. I'm really glad that they did this. Dynamic bundles are coming to the Atom Shop on December the 1st. So what this means is that if you already own one or more of the items that is in a bundle, the price of the bundle will be adjusted accordingly. I think that's a really good thing that they've done. They're also adding a bundles category to the shop so that you can find the bundles easier. And Fallout First specific sales are going to be highlighted in the Fallout First page so that you can get to those easily.
Yeah, you don't want those others perusing our wares that are for us.
Yes, no, we don't want those little plebeians in there with us. Yes, excuse me while I sip tea with my pinky out. Also on December 1st, you will be able to spend atoms on lunchboxes. They will continue to be available in-game for gold bullion and as season rewards. I can't imagine needing to spend atoms on lunchboxes. I have like 50 lunchboxes.
Yeah, I got a few.
I have so many lunchboxes. I need to just use a lot. And also, treasure hunter mole miners are back this week, so that's always a fun time. You can roll mole miners and take their lunchboxes, and try not to think about the fact that these mole miners are not going to be going home to their mole wives and their mole pups at home.
I just realized that we're kind of bullies. Like, give me your lunch money, kid.
Yes, exactly. These poor mole miners, like, they're just trying to earn a living out there, earn an honest living, and some vault dweller shows up and murders him for his stuff as he doesn't fight back, as he just flees in terror. Poor little mole miners. It's horrible. It's horrible.
By the way, I've realized that when I said they're going to be hostile this time, I meant, and you're like, you lied. I think before the mole miners showed up as the yellow bar, and when they first started showing up, and now they show up with a red bar. Mm-hmm. And that's what I meant by they're going to be hostile. Like, they'll show up red.
Oh,
they're not like an ally that you then shoot and then trigger the red bar.
Right.
They're just auto-hostile as far as they're considered an enemy, even though they're not hostile towards you. They're an enemy type. So I was right, but not exactly how you were thinking. I didn't think they were... so that's... Yeah. But it still feels bad when you shoot them.
It does. It really does. And they are also going to be ending season 2 on December 15th, the same day that season 3 will begin. The Scribe of Avalon is the name of the new scoreboard for season 3, and they will give us some more details in the future. And they are doing a final double score event from midnight on December 1st through midnight Eastern on December 7th. The dailies and weeklies will award twice the usual amount of score. So that is very good for anybody who has maybe fallen a little bit behind in terms of the scoreboard. And that greenhouse building set is really worth putting in a little time for.
Oh, so. Yes, it is.
It's lovely. It's quite lovely.
I wish they would do a little double XP weekend. That'd be nice.
It's been a while, I feel like, since we've had double XP.
I like a little double XP every once in a while.
Yeah, double XP is nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, normal XP is good, like a normal coffee. But sometimes you want the double shot.
Yeah.
It's just you need that extra boost to get you through the day.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Before the year's over, give us a little double XP weekend. To get us a little closer to 300 there, to get that last legendary card slot.
I'm never getting there.
You'll get there.
I'm never going to get there.
I am surprised you haven't hit 200 yet.
You're like 800 levels ahead of me now.
That is not true.
You're like 12 levels ahead of me now.
I played with somebody named Nina. Don't know who they were, but props. They were like level 1257 or something nuts.
I feel like we need to send a wellness check for Nina and make sure that she's okay. Is she eating? Is she hydrated? We love you, Nina. Stay healthy.
Yeah, so anyway.
Well, you know what I love even more than Nina? Patch notes.
So, did you watch the 90s version of Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah. Back in the day. I probably don't remember whatever you're going to reference, though.
There was a thing where they had Colin and Ryan, the tall guy, where they were the hosts of like a telethon, and then they'd have Ryan, or they'd have can't remember the guy, but like the guy who's sung really good. I can't think of his name. Anyway.
Wayne Brady?
Yes.
He was on the show.
Wayne Brady. They'd have Wayne Brady sing. So it'd be those two guys like, you know what I'm reminded of? And they would like ad-lib this segue into this really stupid song. And every time we do segues, I think of those two guys doing that fake Whose Line. Just like...
Oh, brilliant. That's so good.
So anyway.
It's so
You're like,
good.
you know what else I like? And I'm like, what?
So, like, we need to have Wayne Brady in the background being like, patch notes.
Jeez,
He's
if we
so
could have
good.
Wayne Brady on the show, it'd be amazing.
He hosts The Price is Right now. And it's not the same, you know. I loved Bob Barker, you know. Bob Barker is a classic. But
No.
Wayne Brady does a great job.
Wait a minute. I thought it was Drew Carey that was doing The Price is Right.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, the show that he's doing looks an awful lot like The Price is Right.
Or maybe Wayne Brady took over for Drew Carey.
I don't know. Is it Drew? It's Drew. Okay, everybody's saying you're right. What show does Wayne Brady host? It looks just like The Price is Right.
I have no idea.
It looks the same. Like the
didn't-
people dressed in the ridiculous costumes, and it looks so much like The Price is Right.
Price is Right. People
Anyway.
don't dress in ridiculous costumes.
Let's make a deal.
Oh,
Let's make a
okay.
deal.
All right.
Thank you. Anyway, I was watching that. It was really good.
All right.
There's always game shows
Noted.
on when I take my car to get the oil changed or new tires
Isn't there?
or whatever.
It's either like ridiculous soap operas or like the game show. It's like midday at your grandparents' house in '95. You're like, there's
Yes.
nothing on except for like Days
Wow,
of Our Lives
that
and Price
was-
is Right.
That was awful. I'm sorry I did that to us. Patch notes.
Right.
The Steel Dawn update patch notes. The Brotherhood of Steel is back. The new Steel Dawn quest line, of course, we're not going to go too deeply into that, but there are new quests, new characters, new locations, and new rewards. And also, they have updated the main menu. So it's now Brotherhood of Steel, little video and music in the background, Brotherhood of Steel themed, which is fun. And camp shelters, of course, are instanced underground interiors that you can add to your camp and customize. They added a brief quest that introduces the concept of shelters. You complete this little quest, and this gets you access to build your own shelter, your own little basement. You can start this, you can kick it off by reading a poster in a train station, one of the many train stations in Appalachia. And the first camp shelter is the free one that's available, the Vault Utility Room. And because this was an early release, that is the only shelter that is going to be available so far. The Vault Lobby and Atrium will arrive at a later date, presumably on December the 1st when they were scheduled to arrive. But after you claim your camp shelter, you can build the shelter entrance in your camp and go inside. It has a separate build budget from your camp, and your shelter interiors. You can build as many entrances to it as you like. It's a sizable build budget. It's bigger than the original camp.
Yeah, it definitely
budget.
is. It's big.
Which is nice. And they also have the ability for you to turn off snapping. So you can build things wherever you like. It gives you a lot more freedom. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the skilled builders do with these interiors and that freedom to build without as many constraints. So looking forward to that. Mine is just a little sad basement, just like you would expect. You know, it's a sad little basement to pair with my sad little house. And
your house isn't sad. It's fun and chaotic.
It is chaotic. It really is. Don't let me forget to tell the people that I aimed a tank at your house. Okay, I forgot to put that in the show notes.
We'll talk about that.
It's really good.
We'll get there.
Really good. They talk about the dynamic bundle pricing in the patch notes and some additional Atom Shop updates, including backpack flare. So backpack flare is basically little keychains that you can attach to your backpacks.
Yes.
And any current backpacks will not have the slots, but you can craft a new version of your backpack, and that will create one with the slots on it.
Nice.
And while the system is live as of now, the little keychains are not yet available, so those will be added at a later date. I'm looking forward to that. I really enjoyed collecting little backpack charms in the Division 2.
Mm-hmm.
That was really fun. So I think I'll enjoy doing that here as well. I'm interested to see how they interact with the different backpack skins. So
That's true. Yeah, when I first saw these leaked like a month or two ago, I thought that my immediate thought was like, "Oh, Shaline is gonna love this."
mhm.
So, should we talk a little bit about some of the caveats with the shelters, or we'll touch base on that after the patch notes?
Yeah, sounds
Okay.
good. And as we mentioned earlier, the hunger and thirst updates, so you will no longer have any negative effects when you haven't had anything to eat or drink. Instead, it is a buff when you do fill those meters. The holiday gifts have had the weight increase to 1 pound each, and those have been made untradeable. So that is to combat duping,
Mm-hmm.
presumably.
That's smart.
And yes. Pacifist mode will be toggled on by default henceforth. So
That's smart.
you no longer have to go turn on pacifist mode. And Settler Forager is once again able to give daily quests. They've done some updates in terms of art and graphics that are pretty good, and camp and workshop things. So there were a few of these. You can build powered lawn flamingos without having learned the base flamingo plan, stuff like that.
Do you see under arts and graphics the power armor?
Yeah. Players' posteriors are now properly protected while wearing Enclave power armor. Yes. You have to protect your important assets.
I hope that tickets start out with, "Dear Bethesda, I was running through the forest and something jumped up and bit me." Like, I really hope
Where
that's
did
how
it bite you, Forrest?
I really hope that's how it started.
Oh my goodness, that's so brilliant. That's so good. I imagine the power armor as having like a little flap, like old timey long johns.
Like clinks, clink, clink when you run.
Yes. Little buttons, little flap just comes down. Some camp and workshop improvements, including several updates. The rocket rides can no longer be placed clipping into other objects. The super reactor now scraps into aluminum, copper, and rubber instead of just rubber, et cetera, et cetera.
I just like the logic of that. Like, rubber. How did I just get rubber back?
And there were also some combat updates, including damage from weapons like floater grenades to deal less damage than intended. So maybe those will be useful now. Have you tried them since the update?
No, because I still hate them. But maybe
Yeah,
they're all right
maybe
now.
maybe they'll be a little more useful now. That would be incredible. They have improved the accuracy of chance to hit percentages when using VATs, and hits that successfully strike the target now deal the correct damage. They fixed an issue that could cause VATs to close when line of sight became partially obscured, that kind of thing, et cetera, et cetera. Daily ops, some changes in contextual ammo. Enemies in daily ops now correctly drop shotgun shells when using the fancy shotgun.
What's the
Why
fancy
don't I
shotgun?
have a fancy shotgun?
I don't know what the
want a
fancy
fancy
shotgun is,
shotgun.
actually.
I mean, I need to know more. I have questions.
It must not be good, because Archon doesn't have 20 of them.
Right? Is
So.
it? I feel like maybe that's an Atom Shop skin, the
Maybe.
fancy shotgun. Oh, you get it from Pleasant Valley claim tickets? Oh, I am going to be turning in some claim tickets today. I want a fancy shotgun.
I just got one of those
So
today,
good.
actually. The claim ticket.
ticket.
And I was like,
I have a large stockpile.
oh,
of
really?
claim
Oh,
tickets.
I love turning those in.
Yes.
It was funny because I killed a Scorch and he dropped, and I looked at him real quick, and I quickly mentally checked, like, oh, ammo, claim ticket. All right. Ooh, claim ticket. And I turned around and, like, tiptoed back over as I'm getting shot at, and I was like, thank you. And
That's
then
so great.
put it in
So
my pocket and then kept on shooting.
Thank you, Asher Dusk, for giving us those
Mhm.
corrections and updates. We appreciate it. Let's see. The Daily Ops bosses will no longer swap their unique weapons for weapons from nearby corpses, and the super mutant boss is no longer disarmed after being staggered. After you receive Paladin tier or higher, the rewards list now correctly includes both of the player's legendary item rewards, and they've also fixed an issue causing some doors in Vault 94 to display a button prompt without any text. There were some enemy corrections. Blood Eagles can no longer be turned into Scorched Blood Eagles by Scorched Beasts. And Earl Williams, good old Earl, can no longer turn into an ash pile or a goo pile on death. And he can no longer be dismembered by Bloody Mess. I think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
I had one of my successful Earl runs. He was a goo pile, and it was hard to find him, and you're in a hurry to get out of there. And it was stressful.
Yeah.
Stressful.
No, that is good.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's no longer like, where's Earl? Everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It's a little bit of him there, a little bit over there.
Oh, good.
Yes.
I got a rocket launcher out of his eyeball.
The Scorched Beast Queen no longer clips into the terrain during her strafe attack.
I like that happened now. Like, we should fix that. The thing that happened since the beginning of the game, we should fix it now. 2 years,
now,
like a year later.
We have arrived at, in my opinion, the most important fix thus far.
Uh-huh.
They have fixed several instances where Enclave under armor could clip through different apparel, such as the bomber jacket and the pint-sized slasher outfit. This Enclave under armor, guys, it clipped through everything. It drove me nuts. It was horrible.
There you go.
It was frustrating. It made me furious. Yeah, so let's see what else we have here. Some other corrections for armor pieces and weapons. The Cryolator now correctly deals cryo damage, and the Flamer deals fire damage.
Oh.
That's nice. That's good job, Bethesda. Good
Wow.
job. The refrigerated backpack mod now consistently reduces food spoilage rate by 50%.
Consistently.
Yay! Consistently. Yeah, pump action shotgun bash damage was increased so that it's in line with rifles and other shotguns. Oh, and recipes. This one was another big one. The Radstag Redemption, Mirelurk Boil, and Headhunter's Head Cheese recipe notes now correctly unlock the ability to craft those items. These are weighted notes that they weigh like 0.25 pounds, like a quarter pound each. But they didn't give you anything, and now you can read them, and you can reread them, and they unlock that crafting item for you. I believe these are picked up at that place where the two chefs are fighting each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that the two Raider chefs are having chef wars. It's great.
Head cheese is just oh god. Like, do you know what that is?
I feel like I used to know and probably blocked it from my memory.
I want a head cheese. I gotta double check what this is.
Sounds gross. I don't think it's actually cheese, is it?
No, it's head cheese or brawn is a cold-cut terrine or meat jelly, often made with the flesh from the head of a calf or pig. Typically set in aspic. It originated in Europe. Aspic, whatever. Ugh. I could go for some meat-flavored Jell-O.
Yeah, that was a whole thing for a long time.
Ugh.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. Thrown weapons now deal correct damage types. For example, the cryo grenades, cryo mines, floater grenades, etc., etc. And the Warglaive had its crafting requirements changed. They added copper and removed the plasma core requirement. I mean, that doesn't affect me because I'm never going to get a Warglaive plan. So,
Well, we just got to run daily op every day, you know?
I mean, I've run a daily op almost every day since they released daily ops, and it's fine. I don't even want the Warglaive anyway. I don't even like Warglaives.
Yes,
So
you do.
I don't need the Warglaive
Yes,
plan.
you
It's
do.
fine. It's totally fine.
Okay.
The carnivore mutation added some new food items that count, including canned dog food, deathclaw eggs and omelets, frog eggs, imitation seafood, mirelurk eggs and omelets, mothman eggs, pork and beans, rad scorpion eggs and omelets, rad toad eggs and omelets, rad toad omelets, Salisbury steak preserved, and yum yum deviled eggs. The herbivore mutation has some new foods that count as well: Cajun rice and beans, fire cap tasty souffle, Instamash, preserved Instamash, and vegetarian ham. They've also changed some NPC things, some animations, and a little bug that the Overseer had where she would get stuck on the way to the presentation room during one of the quests.
Nice.
I had that bug. I had to restart it. And Sentry bots and Doorman Protectrons will now respond when you talk to them. Performance and stability. Client stability. They have fixed an issue that could cause a client crash when loading into a world. Server performance. Players will no longer receive an error when joining a daily op while using furniture. Server stability addressed a server crash that could occur when loading into a world. Performance addressed an issue that could result in a performance drop when viewing the season scoreboard. Performance and stability, frankly, could still use a little bit of work, though, dears. You guys at Bethesda, I love you. I just want the game to run smoothly and consistently.
Yeah.
Every time. Like you can keep the quests for a while if you just want to work on a game that doesn't crash. That would make me happy. But I guess that's a little much to ask. Some perk updates were done. I won't go through all of those. Quests and event updates and changes. I want to check out Free Range because they have beefed up the Brahmin health. See what they did there?
Yeah. Oh.
Beefed up the Brahmin health for the Free Range event. That event had gotten really hard after the last update.
Yeah, it did.
So I'm interested to see how significantly that has changed. Sound. They've updated some sounds. The theremin has got 2 songs now. Mm-hmm.
But they didn't update the classic jukebox to play rockabilly or rock and roll. It still plays classical music.
Indeed. Well, it's the classic jukebox.
No.
Classic jukebox. I understand. It showed a guy jamming out on a guitar in the ad, and that was not good.
It was not good.
Yeah, so that's about all of the major things from the patch notes. So let's move on into our next story. Fallout 76 camps now have wheelchairs thanks to a player request. This is from a Kotaku story by Ian Walker. About 2 months ago, a Fallout 76 player who uses a wheelchair made a post on the game's subreddit asking for mobility aids to be added to the camp customization options. And this most recent update, it honored that request. Kelly, who goes by Cathal online, posted, "It would make me so happy to have that little piece of me in my creations." And the community got the attention of one of Bethesda's community managers, who said that they would pass this message on to the developers. So wheelchairs existed as a prop in Fallout 76, and players believed it would be a pretty simple matter to make it a chair that you could sit in and to add it to the camp options. So now it is a usable piece of furniture and is part of the build menu. So
nice.
Fantastic. I think that was a really great thing.
Good guy Bethesda. See, you don't get performance stability, but you do get good community interaction.
Yeah, I do give them many, many props for this inclusivity. Kelly, who originally made the request, said, "Seeing one of my favorite games actually listen to me and include something like that in the game, absolutely no words. I genuinely shed a tear today when I opened up the workshop menu and saw the chair." And she likened this to how she felt seeing a wheelchair in Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's really cool. That's really cool.
It's great. I that's something that's really important to her and to so many other people, and they get to see more of themselves reflected in their own character. So I think that's a wonderful thing, and I'm very pleased that Bethesda did it.
Good guy, Bethesda.
Indeed. Rick, do you want to do ballistic bargains?
I do. So let's go ahead and get jingle with it, because the music jingle. Anyway, so this is the Atomic Shop Weekly Update, November 17th through the 24th, and here we go. There are some free items that you can get, and available until not now. They need to update this. When should they should have updated this? I feel like this week, but they didn't. Anyway, it's no longer available. The Pioneer Scouts poster was available until the 24th, but it is not anymore. But you can get the Blue Demon Power Armor paint for Fallout First members only until December 1st. So there's that. You can get the right now, the limited time offers. We have the Deep Cave Hunter Outfit Bundle, and that includes the Hunter Outfit, the Deep Cave Hunter Backpack, the Deep Cave Hunter Pip-Boy, and the Deep Cave Hunter Bow and Compound Bow skins, and the Mini Lunch Pail. Minor Lunch Pail, not Mini. That bundle is 1,500 atoms, available until December 1st. The Deep Cave Hunter outfit is 800 atoms. The Deep Cave Hunter backpack is 500 atoms. The Deep Cave Hunter Pip-Boy is 400 atoms. The Deep Cave Hunter bow and compound bow skins are also 500 atoms, and the minor lunch pail is 250. Those are all available until December 21st, along with some other limited stuff. The Encampment Fortress bundle is no longer available. Sorry about that. The following are available until December 1st, and that is going to be the Flying Fortress, which is like a pre-built room that is the kind of middle fuselage of a B-17. You have the Encampment Bridge kit, which does look really cool. I wish that they had a way you could maybe had a turn in the bridge. I don't know. I kind of want the bridge. It looks pretty cool. The encampment fence and gate, and then the defensive hedgehog, as well as the military camo military utility cap. Those are all. I
must say, I was bitterly disappointed in the defensive hedgehog.
What is that?
It's just like a piece of concrete that's pointy on top.
Yeah, it's the anti-tank, anti-vehicle.
I wanted it to be
like an actual hedgehog. Oh, yeah, we got to talk about the shelters after this. Anyway, Thanksgiving has come and gone if you're in the States or somewhere else that celebrates it. But you can still get some of the bundles. The Enclave Persona bundle is available for 1,800 atoms until December 1st. The Grognak Hero bundle, available until December 21st for 975 atoms. The Thanksgiving Feast chair, 200 atoms. The Thanksgiving Feast table, 200 atoms. The Thanksgiving display case, get it, it's a must. That's 300 atoms. The Turkey Mascot outfit is 900 atoms. And the Thanksgiving Cornucopia backpack, 500 atoms. And the Corn Wreath is 200 atoms as well. Side note, it cannot be placed on a door. Dumb. Yes, I know. Headed for the vault. These are all gone, so never mind. It's so funny that this was from the 17th to the 24th, and some of the items in here are schwacked. So, all these are gone. It's so weird.
I double checked you, and this is the most recent update.
Yeah, I feel like they're late with one, which makes me kind of excited to see what they're going to put in it. Probably nothing special. Anywho, and the weekly offers are now gone. So that's it for the ballistic bargains. Woo! Oof. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about some shelters real quick. What?
No, go ahead.
I thought you were going to say something. Quick caveat about the shelters. They are different because their budget is different. Their build supply is different as well. It still uses the same materials available to you, but if you store something from your camp, like I did, I stored all my workbenches to put them in my basement. They don't actually show up in your basement. It's a separate thing. So if you want to build something, if you want to remove something from your main camp and put it in your workshop, just scrap it. Or store it
You
for later.
also can't put your ammo converter in the basement.
No.
Or refrigerators.
The refrigerators don't work. The ammo converter and factory does not work. The fermenter, the speedy fermenter thing, does not work. The way that Archon was explaining it is that anything besides the stash box and the scrap box that accesses the inventory does not work in the shelters. What the shelters are really there for is to express yourself with building, having larger budgets to build and stuff. Oh, displays also don't work either.
Yes, I was so cross about it. I really wanted to move my magazine collection into the basement.
Yeah, it makes no sense with like, oh, this is where you can express yourself, and it's like, oh, display things. You can't. But you can make a floating Mothman head. Trade off. So anyway, yeah, for Archon, I gave him a little gift. I took the bust of the Mothman and stuck it right in his doorway, so it's just like right there. It is pretty cool. You know, I thought I built an entrance to my shelter in the shelter to see if it would be like Inception, like another instance, but no, it just like plops you right into it's like a loop, like a portal. But you can have other shelter entrances inside of your shelter, so you can kind of go down levels if you want to think of it that way. I do think the functionality will be expanded. I also like the idea of having my workshop underneath I keep saying underneath, but like instanced. That way I can build my house kind of a little bit more how I want it to, and not have like a dedicated space to put workshop stuff that doesn't really fit the motif. Speaking of that, I haven't really figured out how I'm going to reset my house yet. It's kind of, I don't know what to do with it. Anyway.
It's nice to have a little bit of budget open up by moving all my workbenches. That was a nice thing.
And it is pretty cool. I actually hid mine. You can do kind of creative stuff with the entrance, and my entrance is pretty well hidden. It's not easily found. Shaline found it pretty good, but I think because it was the time of day, the light was shining properly. But so yeah, there's some.
I also like I knew where you put it. I knew.
So yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. It's definitely worth getting because the free one, there's going to be one that's available for purchase with Atoms, and there's going to be one that's exclusive to Fallout First. I really, really hope that the big one is not going to be Fallout First exclusive. I mean, well, I selfishly hope that that's the case, but I don't want it to be for other people because that kind of that would be so elitist. Like, oh, we get the big one. You know?
Ash DZ, no, you cannot fast travel directly to the shelter.
No. So if you do want to have it as your workshop, Archon says it is. Shucks, but also awesome. I will wear my monocle and top hat. By the way, that top hat, Shaline, that you gave me, I walked downstairs one day and put it on my wife's head while she was working, and then I went downstairs like 2 hours later, and it was still there. She's just like, I didn't bother moving it. Anyway, so it is kind of frustrating that you have like a double loading screen now to get to your workbenches and stuff, but at the same time, it is nice to kind of have that budget open up. So be aware there's some caveats there, but the first one's free, so it's not that big of a deal. You want to talk about our gameplay?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
Isn't one last thing that we need to talk about? I believe you mentioned yesterday that PvP is available in the shelters.
Yeah, pacifist mode is turned off upon entering, and I believe the reasoning is traps and mischiefs. I don't know, but yeah, when I entered it, it's like, you have pacifist mode on. This needs to be disabled when you enter, and I was like, all right. And so yeah, I don't really know how that mechanic works. I didn't really shoot at you when you were down there, but yes, be aware that when people enter your bunker, PvP is now officially on. It's still the slap damage, so it's not like full damage. It's still the slap, and you have to return fire, and then it's on. It's still in that regard, but it is pacifist mode is disabled down there. So
okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So getting on to our gameplay. So I started the Brotherhood of Steel. Excuse me, sorry. I started Steel Dawn yesterday? Wednesday. I started it Wednesday. And I finished it this morning. And so it was a little bit...
So it's not super long
it's
then.
not long. I will say the content is good. It's definitely, the missions are intriguing. The lore that they introduced to the Wasteland is pretty cool. And there are choices where, like, you remember, like, with Wastelanders, there were choices that impacted the outcome, right? But it was mainly, like, dialogue changed, not really the world changed. Which, okay, I hate that with Bethesda games. I hate that like, nothing changes except for dialogue. And then after the dialogue's over, nothing mattered. Well, this one sets up for some stuff that's not resolved. And I don't know how those choices are going to affect things going forward.
Very interesting.
Well, the cool thing is science has already happened. Archon has picked one way, I've picked something else, so we've picked the opposite, and we're going to see how that works in the end. But it will all, I guess, come to a head with the next DLC. So it's a good setup to the next Broken Steel, I think is what it's called. So yeah, I obviously played all that. The characters are great. Romani, Shin, and the scribe Yannick, Yarrick, scribe something. Those three characters are really, I think, fleshed out. I think they're really fleshed out. Some of the stuff that gets introduced in this reinforces lore of Brotherhood of Steel that we've known for years, and it's really cool to see, kind of like, maybe if it's not particularly canon, but to see an origin story or like a starting point of some really long conflict between the Brotherhood and another faction or something, and you're like, oh, that's cool, So it's really cool how they fleshed it out. Some of the dialogue was a little frustrating, where, like, you would ask them a question, they'd be like, the answer is yes, and then you ask them another question, and they're like, that was not really related to the one you asked before, and they're like, well, like I said before, the answer is probably not no. Like, they said the same thing twice, and you're kind of like, it's the dialogue's a little lacking there, but the voice acting is great. There are characters that you briefly meet that are like, just in a little tiny nutshell, you're like, man, I don't know how this is going to come back to bite me, but this might. So there's a lot more decisions and different things that you can do, and depending on how you did Wastelanders, it changes some of your options for dialogue in this story.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I sided with the Raiders, and so some of my dialogue was bent on that, and then, like, whenever you would pick one of those options, they would kind of, like, look at you like, so tell me, what have you done before we got here? So they're more like, we gotta keep an eye on this one, So yeah, and it really does challenge, some of the decisions really do challenge, again, I think a little too far ahead. I think a little too in depth. Like, if you go back to Fallout 4, where I was like, well, if I take over the Institute, I'll be able to, like, implement a more, like, hospitable working place, and we won't, like, just kidnap people off the street. I'll really clean the Institute up, and because it could be beneficial if we lead it right. But, like, at the end of Fallout 4, when you pick the Institute, they're like, we're going to keep going the way we were, and you have no control over their, like, decisions whatsoever. So I made a lot of choices based off that kind of mentality. Well, if I choose this way, like, maybe this will happen and that will happen, because if we choose this, then, like, down the road, this could be a problem. And, like, it will never be a problem, or, I'm overthinking things, but that's how I made those decisions. So we'll really see how that works out. The cool thing is Shaline, it's not very long, so it's a good chunk of story that you can easily digest if you try in a day. Again, this was free. So before you're like, it should be longer, but it's free. And yeah, so I didn't get many of the new weapons. I did get a few. There's a couple that I really wanted to try, like the pistol. I really want to try the pistol, but I haven't found one of those yet. So yeah, that's kind of all I focused on. I finished my scoreboard. I finally replaced the wire mesh ceiling to let the sunlight in with the glass roof, and it looks so much nicer. And now I really don't know what I want to do with the rest of the house. After I redecorated or took down all the Halloween decorations, it looked a little empty, and I haven't really figured out what to do with that second floor. I took away the stairs and the fake fireplace that go up to the roof because I no longer need the roof. But now I'm like, I don't know where to put the vending machines. I don't know what kind of house to make this. I don't know what to do with the layout on the second floor. It doesn't really make sense. Like, I'm trying to put like a bar and a lounge area, but it doesn't really make sense with how tight the space is. So I might that big open portion of my house that's not over the water? I might make a pathway over to that and make that another area too, to kind of close off some of that giant gaping hole.
That'll work.
So I have one part is the lounge and the other part is the bar area, maybe some games and stuff like that. So I'm not really sure what to do with it yet. And plus, like, I had been so focused on doing the homework and then, Steel Dawn quest line that I didn't really take a lot of time to redecorate the house. So I've been fiddling here and there and seeing what I can do. But that was kind of my gameplay for like the last 2 weeks, was just trying to finish the challenges to get the scoreboard finished, because I also like the steins. I'm trying to collect all the steins, so there's only 4 and I have all 4 now and nicely displayed in my house. And also on the Thanksgiving display case, I have the big giant goblets that you and Archon gave me. And I also found, we were looking through the asylum last night and you were looking for nurse uniforms. I don't know why.
Because collection.
You just like wearing nurse uniforms. Yes, I know.
Collectibles.
I was in a private instance this morning. I should have went and looked, but I didn't think about it. But I found a blue Vault-Tec alarm clock. And so the first thing I did was I went back home and put it on the display case before I junked it, like I did the little red star pen. And it looks really cool. I had never seen the blue alarm clock in this game. Like, I don't know if it's rare. If it isn't, let me think it is. But it looks really cool in this little display case. So I'm real happy about that. That was pretty cool. I can't think of anything else that I really did that was worth any notes. I mean, I really would love to talk about, some of the gameplay that I did with Steel Dawn, but we can't really talk about that yet. I don't want to. It's hard to know when to spoil these things.
It's a little soon. It's a little soon to spoil Steel Dawn.
Yeah. Well, obviously, yes, there's no spoiler. But I just mean, like, it's hard to know when to spoil Wastelanders and Steel Dawn because it's such a different style of game.
I feel like now that Steel Dawn is out, we're good to spoil Wastelanders.
Okay. So it turns out that Foundation, they were the ones that started the nuclear war. No, I'm kidding. So you finished Wastelanders, right? Anyway, that's my gameplay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You do your thing.
I don't think I've talked about finishing Wastelanders on the podcast.
You haven't. I've really been waiting to discuss it with you.
Yeah, it's okay. So I've finished Wastelanders. I haven't finished Wastelanders with my main, but I finished Wastelanders with my baby character that Archon and I play together. We ran through Wastelanders with that, and we took 2 different paths so that we could see both ways. Of course, he'd already done it, but so that I could see both different ways of resolving the Wastelanders quest line. And I went ahead and sided with the Raiders. I found them more compelling. I found them more interesting as people, and I kind of felt like they had more right to the place than the settlers did of Foundation, because the Raiders were from here. They came from here. So I definitely felt like I don't know, it just felt right siding with the Raiders, so that's what I did. And I really enjoyed it. Doing the vault raid was really fun. It did glitch out on me.
Oh, no.
I think twice.
Oh.
I would get as far as the point where Gentleman Johnny is working on the computer, and then it would just not let me talk to him.
Oh.
So I'd have to start the whole quest over.
Did you pick to put the what's her face, the super mutant? the super
Yeah.
mutant. Did you choose to put her in the thing?
At one point, I did put Gail in the thing. It was really funny. Yes.
Tell them your name. Tell them your name. No. No. Tell them your name.
It was really good. It was really good.
It was really funny.
There was one point at which I got Gentleman Johnny killed at that stage of the quest.
Womp.
But then later on, the quest locked up again, so we had to restart it again. So I managed to not kill him that time.
Right.
And actually, I worked it out with Gentleman Johnny.
Really?
At the end. Yeah.
Look at you diplomatic SOB.
We talked it out.
I put 2 in his face.
And
or
it's
5.
really funny because after you end with Gentleman Johnny, he'll talk about like you can say to him like, so are we just gonna move on now, Johnny? Like nothing happened? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing happened.
Oh. I went full Mafia on him. So like when I did that, I was doing the fully automatic build, right? And so when he turned around, he's like, hey, I'm gonna stab you in the back now. I waylaid him, obviously. And as his dead body was laying there, I pulled out my 45 submachine gun and was like, and just like lit his body up, his dead body, just like, and his head blew off.
Goodness.
You do not double cross me. So yeah.
Yeah, I did work it out with Johnny. So I think that means that I never get to read his terminal though in his room. Yeah.
There wasn't really anything juicy on it. It was just kind of like, hey, you know, we're taking this rube, meaning you, the Vault Dweller, to that arena, and we're gonna hopefully win. And it talks about how he's really gonna kill that one guy, and it talks about backstabbing you, but really that was kind of it.
Right. Okay.
What turned it for me to side with the Raiders was Rah Rah, being a father myself, and then like she didn't really have a parent other than Gale, and Raiders. I was like, I feel like I need to side with them, you know. Oh yeah, Rah Rah was great.
Oh, it's great. I got really upset though that when Rah Rah went missing, when she went after Bunabun during that section of the Raider quest line, no one would help Gale. Like, why would none of these people help Gale? If Gale says, you know, hey, Rah Rah's gone, somebody should help Gale. Like, what is wrong with these people?
They're Raiders.
I was really upset about that. They're Raiders, but she's a child. I mean,
I know, but at the end of the day, they're still Raiders. Like, they don't care. You know, they're more not Raiders than Raiders. You know, they're not like the Jackals or the Fiends or anything like that.
Yeah.
But they don't really like Gale. And they just assume that Rah Rah will come back, I think. But yeah.
I was really upset about that.
That was one of the reasons
really
why I also sided with the Raiders, because I was like, man, you know, Rah Rah needs somebody else here rooting for her, you know?
Yes. Yes. So. Rah Rah needs a role model.
Which, honestly, I haven't even seen her. Like, I've been, like, all through the crater, and I haven't even seen Rah Rah or Gale. I don't even know where they are.
How funny. They're probably still in their room.
Maybe.
They're great. They're so great. Love Rah Rah and Gale. Let's see. What else? I really...
In the chat, Lord O'Donnell was like, they're more like hardcore settlers. It's like, it's kind of true.
Yeah, he's right. I really liked the Secret Service guys. I thought that was fun.
Yeah,
meeting all the Secret Service guys and getting to know them. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really fun.
Did you read the lore about the child?
Yes.
And it's so strange to think that like nobody knows who the father is, but there's like one female down there and then like 5 dudes. And then none of them know who the father is, which means they've all...
That was a whole conversation that I had with Archon, right? When we were down there.
It's like that Spider-Man meme. They're all like,
man, like that's weird. Like that nobody that they don't even know who the father is. And he's like, well, I mean, she knows. And I'm like, maybe she doesn't.
Right. Like, if none of them
Not
know,
necessarily.
either one of them was the only one, or all of them were.
Not necessarily all of them, but there could be multiple candidates.
And they didn't know that someone else had. And so, I mean, it's a whole thing. I spent way too long, like, well, doing the math, you know. But that little girl's a jerk.
She is. She's so mean, and I love her. I love her. Yes.
Yeah.
She's very hardcore. That
She don't
little
take
girl.
no lip.
She's a jerk.
Oh,
She is a jerk.
I forgot to tell you. I finally got my entire set of Secret Service armor minus the helmet, because that'll get there. And I have it. The whole thing is deep pocketed, and all of them are buttress, so it's completely decked out, and it's
Gorgeous.
fully upgraded. I'm happy about it.
Lovely. Congratulations.
A lot of gold.
I haven't even gotten into the gold grind yet. I need to finish Wastelanders with my main character. I really do.
Yes, you do.
I also enjoyed going through the Settler questline as well. I was really glad that that we did it that way so that I could see both pathways. And the Settlers will always have a special place in my heart for giving me a pet robot for just a brief time.
Right.
I had a pet liberator.
You were
and
so
it was,
excited
it
about
was
that.
Precious.
And I was like,
I was so excited. I was thrilled. And then like immediately the liberator just explodes and I was brokenhearted. I was just devastated.
Mm-hmm.
And they painted a little happy face on it, Rick. They painted a little happy face on it. It was so cute.
I hope so. In Guild Wars and also in ESO, you get little passive companions that don't do anything. They just follow you around. I really hope we get those at some point. They just follow you.
Me too. Yeah, I would love to have just a little liberator bot, just hanging out,
Doesn't do anything.
following me around,
just beeps.
just being cute. Really enjoyed that. I thought it was a really interesting storyline, finding that underground communist bunker.
Yeah.
That was really neat.
That was
and
cool.
Yeah, the getting to know, what was her name? Jen, I think, the daughter of the spies.
I don't even know.
She was a really interesting character, and trying to help her work through her issues with her parents and move forward with that. It was neat. And finding what was her name? Hornwright? Penny Hornwright?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, that was wild. I did not expect there to be somebody in that bunker. I freaked out. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Wastelanders was great. I loved it.
Yeah, it was. And the sassy mining robot.
Yes, she was great too.
Motherlode.
Yeah. I really liked Motherlode during her original quest, and I was glad that they brought her back. I was glad they brought her
She
back.
got like a personality.
It was fun. So,
Cool.
yeah, Wastelanders. And of course, I also finished the scoreboard.
We scored.
So, after that, I kind of took a little bit of a break from 76. Spent some time doing some other things. A lot of life happened, so I didn't play a ton of Fallout for a while, but I am doing a bit of achievement hunting and some outfit collecting, which is quite fun. I got the suit, I got the head, I got the suit.
Ah, the fuzzy, yeah.
The Mr. Fuzzy, as you can see, anybody who's watching the video version, this is Fuzzy Brenda and Archon and myself in our Mr. Fuzzy mascot outfits. And of course, I have Archon to thank for helping me get this mascot head at an accelerated timeline. He gave me a bunch of tokens, so that was cool. I did the outfit on my own, and I was, I think, about halfway there to the mascot head, and he gave me a big pile of tokens. So
yeah,
I was really excited.
I'm almost halfway there to get both. I'm saving up to get both. I'm not going to do one and the other because there's no point. But yep.
Yeah, I was very excited about that. I spent a pretty large chunk of last night trying to catch a case of the whoopsies. It's the only disease that I haven't gotten.
Did you get it yet?
I didn't. No. Apparently, you get it by being infected by a diseased Mirelurk hatchling.
Ew.
So I went somewhere where there was a queen and waited until a diseased hatchling came along, and I let it bite me until it died. No whoopsies. So
I like how it
try
died.
again.
You
We'll try
exhausted a
again.
baby.
Yes. And it would lose interest and wander away, and I'd have to follow it down and be like, no, continue to bite me, little child of this Mirelurk.
You pick it up and you hold it on your arm. You're like, nibble. Come on, man.
It was terrible. It was just terrible. Yeah, and a couple of days ago, Archon and I ran through the Bureau of Tourism quests with our baby characters, the Grafton Mare.
Mm-hmm.
I love that Grafton Mare. I think he's so funny. I know a lot of people were really annoyed that all the characters were AIs in the original base game. I thought it was fantastic. I thought they were all unique, and I thought they were all. I enjoyed their personalities. I loved their little backstories. I like the Grafton Mare. I think he's fantastic.
Nobody had a problem with AI only NPCs during Big Mountain.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Like the toaster. Man, that was awesome. He was
brilliant.
He was gonna rule the world.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like that was one of the bigger complaints with the base game of Fallout 76.
But like again, we knew going into that game that we don't need to rehash this. It was the right choice, Bethesda. It was the right choice.
I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And someday I'll play through Steel Dawn. Someday.
It takes a day.
Yes, I know. I'll start it eventually.
Start it tonight.
I'm sure I will. Eventually. Someday. That's
wow.
it for my gameplay, Rick.
One of the things I forgot to mention too was, so last night I was playing 76, and I'd finished all my dailies. I had done the scoreboard. You and Archon had gone to bed, and I was like, "What am I gonna do?" I couldn't really think of anything to do in 76, and I was watching Terminator. I don't know, the one with Christian Bale. That one.
There was a Terminator with Christian Bale?
Yeah, he was the main character.
Like John Connor?
Yeah, he was John Connor.
How did I miss a whole Terminator movie?
Yeah, and so I was watching that one. I can't remember. Terminator Salvation, I think is what it was. And the robots in that were awesome, like the giant robot. Anyway, so I was watching that, and I was like, I want to play Fallout 4. Because one of the Terminators was a synth. And so I booted up Fallout 4, and the only mod I put on it was like the unofficial patch. And I started playing it again. I was like, man, this is so good. Like, Fallout 4 is just so good. It's smooth. It works. I started thinking about like going down to the cannery, like the cannery mission, and like that little settlement that's near the water that's above the abandoned tanker ship. And I started kind of not remembering the game. And I was like, it would be fun to go back and play this game because a lot of stuff I forget. I don't remember. So I'm going to make more of a point to play Fallout 4. I really had been missing Fallout 4. So I made like a scrappy, like mercenary type kind of thing. Not really role play, but like just like he'll be, kind of like power armor. I miss power armor. I miss jumping around in power armor. So, and in Fallout 4, I felt like the power armor was a lot of fun to play in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited to play that a little bit. But I was playing that last night. It was a lot of fun. It was so good. It's nice to like be able to track an enemy and shoot it and not have the game kind of weird out on you because it's server based. I understand. So that's what I was going to say earlier before we started the show. Anyway, we have a bit of a lore segment for you guys, and really this came up because of Steel Dawn and also a conversation me and Archon were having yesterday about the original Brotherhood of Steel Appalachian division, and I dubbed them the OG Broho. And I just like the way that flows. And he goes, yeah, and he did not approve, but I liked it. So this next lore segment is all about the OG Broho. And the reason is because the lore in 76 isn't as directed at you as it was in like 4, 3, or New Vegas. you have to dig a little bit to really understand what happened. So for those of you who don't really care about that, or maybe didn't dig too much, we're going to go talk about the Appalachian Brotherhood of Steel and kind of how it ties into this Brotherhood of Steel thing. So anyway, here we go. The Appalachian Brotherhood of Steel was a chapter of the BOS that was founded by Paladin Elizabeth Taggarty. They were almost wiped. They were almost wiped out in 2095, but there is only one survivor left. Can we spoil that? I guess we can.
I think so.
Yeah,
This isn't related to the new. Like
right.
It's this is all information that was already in the game.
Yeah,
for the whole time.
So Lieutenant Dodge, was it Lieutenant Dodge? I forget how. Anyway,
Initiate Dodge.
Initiate Dodge is the guy who divvies out the daily ops. He's the only survivor from Taggarty's original group. So the origins of I'll call them the BOSA, were Taggarty was a leader of an Army Ranger unit, and they were on deployment in Appalachia, performing war games. So when the Great War happened, while they were performing war games, they thought it was a part of the game. They're like, oh, man, they went all out. Nukes and everything. And so, yeah, by the time they got back, they realized that, no, in fact, the Great War was real. And they tried to reach out to the Army chain of command or someone to figure out what they should do, where they're needed, and what's going on. But it turns out that the chain of command had broken down, and the only person that they were actually able to reach was Elder Maxon from the Brotherhood of Steel Western Division. And Taggarty didn't really trust Roger Maxon, and she didn't really like the philosophies that they were doing. So she started, I think she started up Fort Marshall, the training ground with the robots, and they were trying to enlist the Army again. And eventually she agreed to start a chapter of Brotherhood of Steel in Appalachia, not really agreeing with Elder Maxon right away, but she eventually learned and had come to accept the ideals of the Brotherhood of Steel. The Taggarty's division was not really known to work well with civilians or the settlers in the area. They had multiple run-ins with the Free States and also the Responders. They had a lot of resource conflicts with the Responders, where they were like almost demanding resources from them without anything in return. So there was a bit of a kerfuffle there, and you would find notes from the Responder camps talking about how to deal with Brotherhood of Steel and to not give them resources. As their numbers grew, they outgrew was it Camp Venture? I can't remember the camp. Anyway, as they outgrew Camp Venture, they moved to the Asylum, and they took it over, and I think they fought off the Free States from Thunder Mountain Power Plant, or they fought the Free States off of trying to get the Asylum. Either way, they were fighting Farragut and Free States for those locations. And about that time, the Scorch Bees started showing up. And at first, the Scorch Bees were actually scared of the miniguns that they had, that when they would shoot. And so the Brotherhood just waved them off as a meh threat, not a big deal. By May 2086, the Responders and the Brotherhood of Steel had joined forces to help curb the influx of super mutants in the area, and they did so, but they lost a lot of people on both sides. The super mutants are not very prevalent in Appalachia. There's a few pockets of them, but that's all due to the fact that the Brotherhood of Steel and Responders helped curb the numbers of the super mutants. After that initiative, Taggarty reached out to Elder Maxon again, and he gave them new orders, which are the standard Brotherhood of Steel orders of find and protect the old ways of civilization to help build the way forward for new civilization under the Brotherhood of Steel banner, and not the United States Army, or if anybody had come out of the White Springs bunker, they would the Brotherhood of Steel did not answer to them anymore, but they were going to start forward with a new civilization. However, by 2093, which is, what was it, like 8 years later, the fight with the Scorched had ramped up as the plague spread through Appalachia. More Scorched beasts were happening, different types of Scorched were coming up. Camp Venture was abandoned, and no recruits were brought on, and this starts the downfall of the BOSA. By 2094, which is a year later, most of the resources that the Brotherhood of Steel have dwindled because of the fight trying to stem the flow of the Scorched. By 2095, in one last-ditch effort, Taggarty greenlit Operation Touchdown, which is the assault that they led into the Scorched Beast lair to finish them off once and for all. And funny enough, if you remember, we talked about this before, me and Shaline were doing the one Brotherhood of Steel quest. We were turning on all the uplinks down into the Cranberry Bog, and we got attacked by like everything, like Scorched beasts, and we got attacked by Scorched, and we got attacked by Deathclaws, and we were in this little tiny hut, and we're running out of ammo. We're like,
it was so
we're
great.
like, where do we go? And then I was like, follow me. We're gonna go down into the mine. But we didn't realize that that was the end mission mine that we were supposed to go in. That happened to be the same mine that Taggarty lost her team in. So we ran out of the frying pan and into the fire, essentially, by running into the Scorched Beast lair. And it was how organic that was, made it so enjoyable and so memorable to us, I think.
Yes, it was wonderful.
And so we accidentally stumbled on the main mission of learning about Taggarty and how her team lost all their lives trying to stop the Scorched Beast at the source. And they did actually succeed in stemming the tide for a week to a few months. So after that mission was deemed a success, sightings of the beast started popping up again and generating concern in the Brotherhood of Steel and responders and every settler there, really. And that's when they had known that the actual Operation Touchdown was a failure and the lives were spent in vain. So the Brotherhood of Steel of Appalachia held their positions as long as they could. By that time, a satellite had deteriorated out of orbit, and they lost contact with Elder Maxon in the West Coast. They were on their own. They weren't bringing any new recruits in. They were dwindling resources. They were down to a couple forward operating bases and the Asylum Fort Defiance. And so they held their position as long as they could to buy time for either people to get out of Appalachia or secure their positions. And by August of 2095, which was like 2 months after Operation Touchdown, the Fort Defiance fell, and then the rest of Appalachia with it, and then we enter the scene and finding everybody dead, and the pestilence had spread throughout the land. Now, because of this incident and Elder Maxon losing contact with the Brotherhood of Steel Appalachia, Brotherhood of Steel West sent out the first expeditionary force, which is the Brotherhood of Steel we find today at Fort Atlas. So if you want to learn about their mission and what they're there to do, go check them out.
I'm very excited to start this.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the lore. It was really, it was kind of cool to go back and look at this and just read in one go the rise and fall of Brotherhood of Steel Appalachia, trying to gain a foothold in the East and not being able to, and just fighting against a horde that they could not hope to win. They didn't develop the inoculation in time, and you could tell as soon as they stopped recruiting members, like that was the final straw. They were just bleeding out. So
yeah,
I think that not having human NPCs in the initial base game was such a brilliant move based on this story arc of utter defeat of this pestilence, this plague. And reading through the Brotherhood of Steel story in Appalachia reinforced how much I loved coming into a disaster area and trying to, secure it for people to come back, for Wastelanders, basically. And it was just really cool how Bethesda had this planned out.
Right.
And they knew what they were going to do. And I could imagine they were like looking at all the trolls and complainers and they're just like, hold on, there's a point, there's a reason, just hang in there, we have a story, it's a living world. So anyway, yeah, that's it.
Fantastic.
And I believe that is our show. Thank you so much for listening to us tonight. Is there any announcements?
Not really. Join us next week for Game Stack podcast. We're gonna have Dave Chaffins on, so
right.
that'll be fun. We can talk about new consoles. I believe he has a PS5.
Nice.
I have an Xbox Series X, so we can chat about the next gen of consoles. And
Cool.
yeah, I've been playing a lot of different games, so I'll have a lot of things to chat about.
Awesome. I just downloaded a couple Xbox One games tonight, so we'll see how that goes. Also, this Sunday, I believe we'll be doing Survival Horror Sunday as well.
Probably, yeah.
Yep. And right. So anyway, you can tweet at the show at That Fallout Show. You can tweet at the network at We Just Love Games. You can tweet at me at Rick McVick, Shaline at Shaline L, and Vendor at VendorTron N. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/That Fallout Show, also /groups/That Fallout Show. And if you want to follow the network /GameStack, it's facebook.com/We Just Love Games, and also /groups/We Just Love Games. You can email us any questions, comments, concerns, or rebuttals at info@wejustlovegames.com. Like this video and subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/wejustlovegames. We're looking to break 1 million followers, subscribers by tomorrow. So yeah, there we go. You can find our show on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Could you imagine if we woke up tomorrow and we had like 1 million subscribers on YouTube?
I would feel highly suspicious of that.
Bots. Anyway, you can find our show on iTunes and Stitcher Radio or wherever you get your podcasts. If we're not on your favorite aggregator, podcast, consolidator app, let us know. We'll try to get on there as soon as we can. What? I thought you were going to say something.
No.
We record live every other Friday, 6:30 Mountain, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here at twitch.tv/We Just Love Games. And on the other nights, that's when we do Game Stack, same bat time, same bat channel. You can check out our other show, like we mentioned, next week. And we also do Twitch streams when we can, like Survival Horror Sundays. Thank you so much for listening. And Shaline, what is the last word?
Oofta.